Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Tony Sports Games for my second attempt at recording lucky episode 13 of our Road to Glory series. This is our Dynasty playthrough series of Draft Day Sports College Football 2026 here with the Louisiana Ragin Cajuns. And first off, I just want to apologize for our issues last week. As I posted on the channel, some of you may have guessed, we had some issues the first time around recording this episode. I had it all recorded, had the video file, and when I went to try to edit it, I could not get it to upload either into Clipchamp, or I even tried to do it directly on YouTube, on my YouTube studio. Couldn't get it to work, and being the level of computer savvy that I am, which is funny because I did build this computer from parts, but I followed a YouTube video step by step. So I couldn't figure out what the problem was. I tried many times to fix it. It was a long episode too, which is the real bummer. But eventually we just, we're going to have to call that one a loss, and we'll try it again here. So I think I have figured out what can work anyway. And I'm not exactly sure what the problem was, whether it was that the fact that I recorded through OBS. Of course, I kind of like OBS better than just Game Bar because it gives you some more options for, visuals and for your sound and mic settings. But so I don't know if it was an OBS problem or external hard drive problem or just the video file. But anyway, we're going to try this again here. So now I've advanced even farther because I advanced, I think, a week after our last video, which is now 2 weeks ago, and then we advanced another week during the first attempt to film episode 13. So we have a lot to catch up on. Now, the last episode we posted, I know we were in the middle of a bit of a slide, or just coming out of a slide, I think, because we had lost week 7, 8, and 9. And then I think at the tail end of the last episode, we had gotten a win over Texas State. So as you can see, now we've advanced 2 more weeks. And whereas where we were on a 3-game losing streak before, we're now on a 3-game win streak. And we're sitting in pretty good position to reach bowl eligibility. We really need to win 1 out of these next 2 games. So we do have a lot to catch up on. Of course, I hope everyone's new year is off to a great start. Thanks as always for tuning in. I am so appreciative of the support. Random people that have found this channel through YouTube and different places, and then of course a lot of people in our Draft Day Sports community have been so supportive of the channel, and it's just been a really, really fun project. Now, in that note, I can't remember if I really mentioned it at my very first introduction video when I started the channel, but a lot of the reason for me starting this channel in the first place was to kind of use it as my talent for the year for our family talent show. My younger brother had challenged our family at New Year's, basically New Year's 2024 to 2025, to spend last year, 2025, developing a secret project or talent to share with the family. So it went pretty well. I presented the channel, and I got some polite applause and some, oh, that's nice. And so that's about as good as I could have hoped for. And then some other members of my family displayed some actual talents. So I might have to work a little harder this year to go outside of my comfort zone, not just say, hey, I played a video game and recorded it. What I would have loved to be doing anyway. But anyway, it went really well. So hopefully everyone's New Year's off to a great start. As far as our Ragin Cajuns are concerned, we're starting off the new year on a pretty good foot. We are cruising toward, I think, reaching the goal that I thought was realistic for our second season, or season 1 here. So anyway, let's catch up on how our team's doing, and then we need to prepare for these last couple games of this year. Try to get bowl eligibility, baby. Let's finish this season out strong. Here we go. All right, welcome back in, everybody. Now, right off the top, before we get going here, I wanted to give a huge shout out to um, some. Well, I don't think they're probably still underappreciated, but very appreciated members of our community. That is the team at Wolverine Studios and a couple of our favorite game devs, Brooks and AKH. Thank you guys again for all the work you do to make these games so much fun, to improve them, to fix the bugs. And speaking of bug fixes, I wanted to give a huge shout out for a big one that was hunted down and obliterated uh, just within the last few months here since this game came out. Now, if you guys remember from one of the episodes in season 0, we were doing some depth chart stuff, and I remarked that I could not wait till this certain bug was fixed. I'm going to show you what it used to be because now it's gone, which is amazing. So back in the day, you have this default depth chart package, which is the only one. That one and the backup package are the only ones you start with, and then you can create more if you want to use a different depth chart for different formations and things like that. But what used to always happen is, let's say if I was in my inside run package and I was deciding between a couple centers, like which center do I want to play. If I was to click on a player's player card, like let's say I was trying to decide between Ramirez and Fur, and I wanted to see who had better intangibles. If I clicked on the player's player card and I went through here, I looked to see if he had a trait or looked to see what his intangible ratings were. When I would X out, it would force me out of this inside run package back to the default package. And then I would have to go back in here and then go back down. It was just a huge hassle, but it got fixed. So thank you so much, Brooks, and the team at Wolverine Studios for doing that. In a token of our gratitude, I have made an executive decision. Again, this is not a democracy around here. We have made a couple name changes to some players in honor of Brooks and AKH. As you can see, this is our middle linebacker. He's a freshman out of Louisiana. This is our thumping middle linebacker. His name, the player formerly known as Paul Cox. Now he is Paul Brooks. So Brooks, we're going to honor you by, well, I guess letting you run face first into opposing teams' fullbacks for the next 3.5 seasons. But so that's to honor Brooks. And then our other freshman linebacker, who I was quite fond of in the recruiting process. This is formerly Leo Armstead, now name changed to AKH Armstead. So just showing a little love to our game developers and the Wolverine Studios team. Thank you guys for everything you do. Okay, now I want to catch up on some of the games that have happened since our last episode. So we ended here with picking up a victory on the road at Texas State to snap our losing streak. And then since then, as you can see, we've picked up 2 more wins. Now, I did not make any more large depth chart changes since the last episode. I know we did some offensive line shuffling, and of course then we kind of we're moving towards Elliott being the featured running back, and our other guys. Sorry, I've been doing SNCFL stuff for Levy. Yeah, Levy kind of taking a back seat. But anyway, so a couple changes like that. But in week 11, we had a must-win home game against Southern Mississippi, and boy, did we ever win. So it was a 48-0 victory. We played, pretty well, especially our defense. I mean, we held them to 153 total yards, 3 of 13 on third downs, 9 first downs for the entire game. We only have 1 penalty. We won the turnover battle 1-0. We racked up a huge time of possession edge. We didn't throw the ball for big yardage, but very efficiently. We ran the ball pretty well, 42 attempts for 4.8 yards a carry. So we chewed up the clock. We controlled the whole game. We really dominated, and that was a great win. So we got that one. Then in week 12, we went on the road at Arkansas State, who I think we were about tied with in terms of conference standings. And, we knew we have to win at least one of these 2 road games to even have a chance at being bowl eligible with a victory in our last home game of the year against ULM, who's having a great season. But we were able to get this first one out of the 2 road games, which is great. So in this game, it's only a 19-10 win, but as you can see, again, we win the turnover battle, although only by 1, 3-4. But we have almost double the time of possession. Again, over 200 yards on the ground. Again, not big passing yardage, but pretty efficient. Not hyper efficient, but pretty clean there. No interceptions for Enriquez. It was just we fumbled the ball 4 times. We only lost 3 of them, but we forced 3 turnovers, 3 picks by Arkansas State quarterback James Graff. So we were able to win this game as well, which is pretty terrific. Actually, we were down 0-10 in the first quarter, and then we win 19-10. So we completely controlled the game after that first quarter. And in this game, Levy actually somehow wormed his way into getting more carries than Edwards. Maybe he's still on as the 3rd down back because he's such a good receiving option. But Edwards was okay, better than Levy. Elliott. Edwards, our running quarterback, 12 attempts is probably about the most he's gotten in a game thus far. So all 3 of these guys, Levy with 17 attempts, Edwards 12, Elliott with 9. We're going to try to keep moving towards Elliott more and more as the season winds down here, but Levy was also our leading receiver, catching 6 of 6 targets, which is great to see. So this was a great win for us. Now, I wish I could say our offensive line issues have been solved due to all of our shuffling, but as you can see, they have not. We still gave up 6 sacks, and we've tried. Even Cervantes gave up a sack. This is our best overall offensive lineman, but he's given up 3 sacks this year. So, Bradshaw, center, who I think we had subbed back in, gave up 2 sacks, and then McNeil, we put McNeil back in at right tackle instead of Salgado. McNeil gives up 2 more sacks. So it doesn't seem like there's a great answer to solving the offensive line issues. I mean, we can take a quick look. I know that as we've been going along, I've been continuing to trim out plays where we give up multiple sacks, but we've got a few more here. So I think let's just do some more trimming right now. So this play, pro set crosses, it's a medium pass play where, let's see, we've got, kind of a medium route. Tight end is running kind of a, I don't know, what is that? A outbreaking route. The Z receiver is running an in-breaking route. The back's going out into the flat, but this play is not working. We've run it 7 times for less than a yard on average, and we've given up 3 sacks. So let's get rid of this play. In this one, how do we give up 3 sacks? We keep the fullback in to pass block, but anyway, it's not working. So let's get rid of that one. Now, this slants under play, we've given up 3 sacks, but it's still averaging almost 6.5 yards on the 14 times we've called it. And it's a short pass play, so I'm actually not going to delete that one, even though it's a little tempting. But then I suppose this pro set short post, I don't know, let's just go ahead and delete this one too. So maybe some of the issue was passing out of pro set for whatever reason. Let's see, we have another empty 5 wide. So the empty plays, as you guys can see, they are up here a lot in terms of plays we've given up sacks on. However, when you look at the average gain of these, empty plays, they're all averaging over 6 yards a play. So, I mean, I think for now we kind of have to live with the bad with the good. Of course, now we've thrown our second interception on this running back screen pass, but it's also been one of our best plays when we haven't gotten sacked or thrown a pick because Levy and then over the top to Deloach has been so good. I'm going to choose to leave it in there. If you guys were playing this out, I guess let me know in the comments if you would axe this thing, but I'm going to choose to leave it in. Maybe we could take it down a little bit, but I mean, it's been an effective play. It's just volatile. So anyway, not going to mess much more with that right now. Another thing we have to get caught up on, and I think at this point, as far as our statistics, we might as well just wait till the end of the season to really review how our different players did, especially our freshmen, because we've only got 2 games left here and then hopefully a bowl game. But last week when I advanced, and this was while I was recording episode 13 for the first time, we had a big recruiting week. So a lot of these recruits finally fell through for us, and we've been on a lot of these guys basically since the beginning. As I explained in last episode, basically how this was going to work, was we're waiting as the only offer on a lot of these players, and what was going to happen is either they're going to rack up other offers and commit elsewhere, or even if they only have some interest in us, if we stay their only offer, they're just going to commit to us. So, as you can see, we have 6 scholarships left. So last week, we got all these players to commit, and then we lost 6 that we had offers on. So we got a handful and we lost a handful, which is exactly what we thought was going to happen. So now what I'm going to have to do is go through our list of what our needs were for the season, and we're going to have to look at where do we still have needs that we lost guys, and make sure we reassign those scholarships in the right places. But it's good, of course, to get a bunch of these guys on the board, because basically how the board was looking was I had a whole screen full of offers with some interest but nothing growing, and it just looked just like this, except they all had scholarships on them. And we finally got a bunch of them to come through, so that was great. Among these, I don't want to spend a ton of time, because obviously we'll review these guys when we get close to signing day, but a couple guys I want to point out that I'm really excited about, and you guys can guess it. It's going to be the 1-star. So you guys know I love finding these kind of diamonds in the rough. Now, this quarterback, James Weinstein, he does not have any type of a trait, so he's not technically a dual threat, but I think he's going to have pretty good agility and speed. And it looks like he's got really good accuracy and pretty decent intelligence. So he may be worth something. The reason I went ahead and offered a quarterback is, when we look at Edwards, our running quarterback right now, I just wanted to take another quarterback with this class because, Edwards has been okay as a runner. He's averaging 5.5 yards a carry, 300 rushing yards, nothing to scoff at. But 3 20-yard runs on 55 attempts. So this is a player with 93 speed. When I played a couple games out, I noticed that he just doesn't avoid tackles at the line. He doesn't make anyone miss. It's either wide open and he runs far, or he just runs right into the defensive end and falls down. I think it's because he has low agility, but I also think he could make a pretty decent downfield wide receiver. He's got really good speed. He's got good competitiveness. He's 6'3". So I just wanted to take another quarterback with some athleticism, just in case after this season, depending on where some of our receivers come back at recruits-wise, maybe Edwards could be a receiver in the future. Also, I think maybe Levy could be a receiver in the future, but we'll see about that. Our other 1-stars, now, this is a 1-star linebacker I offered, Jerry Angle, out of Texas. Also, by the way, you guys can see our hiring coaches from Texas has really paid off. We have a great Texas pipe. We went from no Texas pipeline to a great Texas pipeline. And so far, most of our recruiting class this year is from Texas. We're doing better in Texas than even Louisiana so far. So that was the right move. I know long term, if you play play throughout many seasons, of course you're going to focus on coaches' ratings, their coaching and developing ratings, over just their pipeline state. But I felt like starting as a low prestige school right next to a real powerhouse recruiting state like Texas, it's just very important in the short term to build a Texas pipeline. Okay, down the road when those guys' their contracts expire, if we can keep that Texas pipeline and just hire guys with better coaching ratings, great. But I really felt like for the first few years of a playthrough, that was a good move, and I think it's paying off. So I'm glad we did that. But anyway, this was a linebacker, Jerry Engel. He's ranked 3892. But I think he's a pretty good player. It says he has good strength. It says he has good speed, and he makes good decisions. So, we'll have to wait and see where the tackling comes back at. But he's obviously got a lot of good tools to be a good linebacker for us. And then this was incredible. This guy is a one-star receiver, and I would never rob ourselves of the joy of this playthrough by messing with a player in this game. I'm not cheating. I'm not looking at guys' ratings, but I almost missed out on this guy because, as you guys can see, we did a home visit with him back in week 6, and because of the way the recruiting was going, where we weren't losing anyone, but we weren't gaining anyone, I just had guys just sitting there with offers on them week after week after week, especially as we started running out of money. I wasn't really combing through the ranks of recruits to do more home visits and things like that. So I forgot about this guy. And then we had an offer come free from somebody committing somewhere like 3 weeks ago, maybe week, 9 or 10. And I started going through the list, and I get down to this guy, and I realized I hadn't even looked at what our home visit grades on him were. But high 20s, this guy might be like an elite player. And I almost didn't even notice he was there. So, one-star wide receiver. He's from the state of Indiana. Of course, no one else offered him. As soon as I realized how good this guy might be, I put an offer on him. Can't wait to see how good he turns out to be. Maybe our coaches are a little bit off, but this might be the best one-star I've ever seen. So that's really exciting. And then you guys can see we picked up another linebacker, a couple corners, a running back, which this will be big if this guy turns out pretty good. Maybe we can move Levy to receiver, but it just says he's fast and strong, so that's a good sign. Maybe he doesn't have great agility, but he's a power runner. Thomas Rhodes, he's ranked 1349 out of the state of Texas. There's a few other guys to be excited about as well. We got a guard who I think is more of a strength and athleticism guy, maybe a position switch guy. He has amazing potential and a really good social type. Gifted teacher. Gifted means high potential. So, I don't know what he's going to become, but we'll see. That's Corey Carter. And then, we needed a speed rusher really, really bad to put on the other side of Peter Younger in the future, and we got one. Noah Layton. He's just ranked inside the top 1,100. He's from the state of Texas. He's 6'4", 248, and pretty good coach grades. It says he's strong and fast, so I think this guy's going to be a fine edge rusher to play on the other side of Peter moving forward. So that's great. Some other guys as well. Hopefully this fullback we took is a good run blocker. That's really what I wanted. But of course, we'll spend more time on recruiting when we get to the end of the season here. For now, we are sitting at 5-5. We're on a 3-game win streak. If you look at the standings in the Sun Belt, of course, we're in the West, and we don't really have much of a chance to make the conference championship game. We would need, let's see, we are 4-2 in conference. We would need South Alabama to lose two more conference games because they have a tiebreaker over us, and we would need ULM to lose one game plus lose to us. So I don't think both those things are probably going to happen. So I don't think we're going to make the conference championship game this year, but if we can get one more win and get to 6 wins and get a bowl invite in our second season at the helm, but season 1, that would be great progress. And I do think overall we are making good progress with this team. Of course, our offensive line and pass protection issues have continued this year, which is too bad. You can see Enriquez is being sacked on almost 13% of his dropbacks, which is pretty high. But I am pretty happy with Enriquez overall. He's a 67% completion in his freshman season. 7 yards an attempt is not super explosive, but we have a lot of short passes in here. We're trying to get the ball out quick and help him out from getting sacked. But 13 touchdowns to 6 interceptions. I think Greg's going to be a fine quarterback for us. He's even gained a couple more points in some of these categories here, the main ones for a quarterback being arm, intelligence, and accuracy. So I'm happy with that. Our run game has not been, incredible, but it does seem like we're getting better as the year goes along, especially if we can keep working Elliott in a little bit more. He seems to be a little better fit for, I don't know, the type of team we have this year, the type of offensive line. He's able to grind out those inside yards a little bit better. And as far as receivers go, obviously we're going to lose Kimbrel. We're going to lose McLean. We're going to lose David Cook. So we're going to lose a few guys, but Justice, in spite of the morale issues, has been okay. I mean, he has 6 drops. If we can get it, I just hope his morale goes back up. He'll do better if he can get his morale back up. Kind of figured that there's no coaching talk we can do that's going to fix it, because everything I've tried doesn't work. But then we're going to leave him alone. Deloach, hopefully he can continue to develop as well. I don't think our receivers have been hitting it out of the park, but between Levy and Norman, we at least know we have a tight end who's super, super reliable and a running back who's really reliable as a receiver as well. So whether we leave him at running back long term or if he switches to receiver, that's probably going to depend on who else we get at receiver moving forward. But yeah, we are making progress, and I think the defense is coming along okay as well. You can see we're a top 10 defense against the pass. Rushing defense, it's not great. We're a little better than last year. Hopefully after the second recruiting class, we'll have a few more of the types of athletes and bodies we want to run this defense. But we're doing okay, guys. We're making some progress, and we're still building here. I hope we'll be able to accomplish our goals for this playthrough within a few seasons. I would like this to not drag out much past 4 or 5 seasons, because I'd like to move on to other things besides this playthrough, but we're sitting okay. So I think what we need to do for this week, let me take a minute aside and review our recruiting plan for the year. Let's figure out where we need to put these 6 free scholarships that we have. I'll be right back after I do that, and then we'll take a look real quick at our game plan for our next matchup on the road at James Madison. See if we can get bowl eligibility before this last game against ULM. But let me take a look and review recruiting, and we'll come back when I have these scholarship offers filled out in just a moment. Okay, welcome back, everybody. So as you can see, we have restocked a few of our scholarship offers. I actually have one that I have not offered, but good news is, as I went back and looked at our recruiting chart for the year, or our list of what we needed that I had written down at the beginning of the season, we've really gotten most of what I wrote down that I thought we needed. The things that are remaining that I had written down, a blocking tight end. So looking for a tight end who's good at run blocking. Now, this Braylon Roundtree was the only tight end left on my target list. So we lost the other guys that I was looking at. I think he's a pretty decent run blocker, because he's sure not good at anything else. He's not fast. He doesn't have very good hands. So for these coach grades to even be this good, tell me that he's hopefully pretty good at blocking. But just in case, I went ahead and added some more tight ends onto the target list, just to interview, hopefully get some scouting scouted attributes percolating here, and we'll see if any of these guys are good blocking tight ends. But maybe we'll get him, or maybe hopefully we'll get at least one of these guys as we wind down here. The only other things I had written down, of course, we need one or two more receivers, and I had quite a few more receivers left on the target list, as you can see. So I didn't have to add anyone on from here. We've still got some guys to choose from. A strong pass blocking guard is something we don't have yet. So I still have an offer. An author. I have an offer on this Arthur Ferris that we've had on for a while, and I think he's a pretty good pass blocker. I think he has decent strength as well. But this would be a great player. Don't know if we're going to get him. Added some other guys onto the target list just to take a look. Hopefully we can still get one of those guys. And that's about it. So we mostly have everything that we really needed. Now, as you can see, this top guy on the list here, this Mark Van Diver, I still have the offer on him, even though he's now picked up 4 other offers as well, and they're from bigger schools. As you can see, he's a fine player. 4-star, 58 ranked overall. Probably too good for us to land, but I mean, he doesn't have any interest in anyone else either, even though he's gotten some offers from some bigger schools. So we're probably not going to get him, but left our offer on just in case because he hasn't warmed up to anyone else either. So let's at least give ourselves a chance to pull off an upset recruiting in that one. So that's recruiting. You know, we're going to wind down the season. I like a lot of what we've gotten already, but let's try to bring it home strong. Now, moving ahead to our matchup with James Madison. We're on the road at James Madison, and the way this matchup shakes out, I like our chances in this one. They are, if you look at their team stats here, they're not a very good rushing team. They're a much better passing team, and you can tell from this, you know, their lead quarterback has over 400 passing attempts. So they definitely throw it more than they run it. Also, though, he's injured. This guy Wilder is out for the next 2 weeks. I'll show you the backup, but it doesn't look like he's a good match for their offense. Their lead running back, you know, he's averaging under 3 yards a carry. So they are pretty heavy towards the pass. So we're probably going to focus that, try to shut them down. And then on defense, they're one of the worst teams in the country against the run. They're much better against the pass. And our offense is probably better rushing than passing. So it seems like our strengths as a team line up with their weaknesses. If you look at this backup quarterback here for them, Leonard Bush, the only thing he has going for him is he has a big arm. So he should be good at down the field passes, or better at down the field passes than short. But then if you look at the throws he actually has made in his limited snaps, they throw it short more than medium or deep. And then if you even go farther, if you look at this play analysis tab, again, this is how we scout. We look at James Madison, take a look at the plays they run the most. It's a bunch of RPOs. So this is where intelligence and accuracy matters a lot on these plays. And then there's some short passes here as well. So their offense should really struggle. If we can get our run game going, you guys can see I've kind of focused us on the run here. I think we can win this, even though it's on the road. I'm probably, you know, I've set up our target player to be Levi Foley. That's one of their leading receivers. They have 2 receivers that kind of basically tie as their leading receiver, but the other one's questionable or probable. So let's focus Levi. Let's prepare against the short passing. Let's keep this mixed. Let's go ahead and focus the pass. Well, no, let's leave it balanced. Let's leave it balanced. It's worked for us okay. I don't want to get gashed on the run. Our focus, I'm wondering if we should focus the run, but perhaps I'll leave it on balanced here. But I like the way we match up here is pretty good, I think. So let's go ahead and save just in case anything bad happens. Let's run through real quickly how the other Sunbelt games go, and then we'll play our game, and we'll get out of here. So If Arkansas State could knock off ULM, that would be a big help for us. But oh, they do in overtime. I didn't think that was very likely. That's great. This is excellent for us. This brings in some interesting possibilities for us. That's huge, actually. So Arkansas State upsets ULM 32-29 in overtime. Then, I mean, South Alabama at Southern Mississippi. Surely we couldn't get this lucky to have Southern Mississippi win also. Oh, they do. Oh my goodness, they do. Oh my word. Guys, this is huge actually for us. Okay, so it's the dream scenario here in week 13 so far. I hope we don't blow it. South Alabama falls at Southern Mississippi. So they have 2 conference losses now, same as us. We still need them to lose one more, but this is looking pretty good. Georgia State falls at Marshall, so maybe Marshall starting to turn things around. Georgia Southern at Coastal Carolina. Coastal wins 38-20. Old Dominion at Appalachian State. Old Dominion wins, just their second win of the year. And Texas State at Troy. Feel sorry for the fans. 34 mile an hour, or 47 degrees, 34 mile per hour winds. Texas State beats Troy 9-6. What a brutal game. Now our forecast, it is windy and a chance of rain. So I'm glad we are going to focus on running. Let's hope we come out on top here. If we could win this, this would be so huge. Let's see how we did. And we do it. We get it done. Guys, we made it. We're bowl eligible. This is great. Now, it looks like, I mean, we win 40-19 on the road at James Madison, but Enriquez has his worst game of the season so far. So we must have gotten our run game going. Let's take a look and see here. This is great, guys. We're bowl eligible. We did it. It's very exciting. Looks like a very sloppy game here. Their offense did absolutely nothing. Look at that, guys. 8 of 41 passing for them. So our passing defense absolutely dominated. They also ran for less than 2 yards a carry. Our defense completely dominated this game. Our offense really struggled here. I mean, yardage-wise, we end up with 410 yards. 250 on the ground, so that's great. But 5 turnovers, that is pretty rough. So I'm going to have to look at what plays Enriquez threw picks on, because that is not what we want to see. Looks like we only gave up 1 sack, so that's good. We got to their quarterback 4 times. Hey, I'm not going to quibble. We just got bowl eligibility, folks. This is exactly where we wanted to be. Did anyone allow the sack? Oh, McNeil allowed another sack. Oh, great. Okay, so that's not fixed, but you know what? We got the win. So I'm not even going to worry about that too much. See who our key players were in this one. We have Levy with 78 yards on 23 carries. So he's still playing too much on third down. I'm going to have to remove him as the third down back because I would like Elliott in there when we run. But Elliott, 85 yards on 18 carries. Ralph Leach with 52 yards on 7 carries and 2 touchdowns. That's terrific to see. A lot of guys getting into the box score. Donald McLean, our leading receiver, catches 4 out of 7 for 57 yards. And let's see who got our sacks on defense. Our freshman strong safety Lewis Johnson picks up a sack. Kevin Sturgis, another big game with 1 TFL, 1 sack, 5 hurries, 3 knockdowns, and a fumble forced. He's got to be all conference. I think Kevin's going to be all conference. He's had a tremendous season for us. Florencio Baldwin, our other defensive tackle, gets a sack, his 6th on the year. And then one of our linebackers, Harry Hughes, gets a sack. Looks like Peter Younger did not get a sack in this one, but look at this, 8 quarterback hurries, 2 knockdowns. So very nice game out of Peter, even though he doesn't finish a sack. 64 snaps, didn't finish with a tackle, but he's making his presence felt. So, that That's tremendous. We're very happy about this. So Ralph Leach is the offensive player of the game with those 2 rushing touchdowns. John Cromwell for James Madison with his 5th interception of the year, it looks like, and he returned it for a score. It was in the first quarter. Other than that, though, it looks like we pretty much dominate the game, so that's great to see. So we are officially bowl eligible, guys. Let's go ahead and advance week 13 here. Oh, this is very exciting. So before we even play the ULM game, we are officially bowl eligible. All right, excellent. And if we look at the Sun Belt standings, now, if South Alabama, they play at Georgia State, who will not be, hopefully won't be a pushover. If South Alabama, of course, if ULM beats us, they're going to be in the conference championship game. If we beat ULM but South Alabama wins, I think they would get it because they have the tiebreaker over us. Well, I don't know, because then ULM would have it over them. We would have it over ULM, and South Alabama would have it over us. So I'm not sure how that's going to work out. Dream scenario is if we can beat ULM and have South Alabama lose, we could win our side of the Sun Belt here. It is really a great turn of events. So we've got a couple guys that are tired. We'll adjust some training schedules. Did we get any other recruits? Oh, we did. So we get, oh baby, look at this. So we get the guard in the top 500 we were looking at, Arthur Ferris. So we got our pass blocking guard. Great. We get 2 more wide receivers. So we have filled our need for wide receivers. We have a top 800 player here in Troy Roberts. He's from New Jersey. Very good. And then we got McCorkle, Chester McCorkle. 6'3", 203, good work ethic, good competitiveness, and pretty good speed. So that is promising. We also get another running back who is very, very fast, and he's a workout fanatic. And then we get, oh, that's it. Yeah. Oh, we got the other defensive end we were looking at too. Another strong, fast. Wow. Okay. So really we just need a blocking tight end and we're good. Tremendous. What a week. This was worth losing the first version of episode 13. This ended up being a great week for us. So we're sitting pretty. We're bowl eligible. We have at least an outside chance of winning our side of the Sun Belt and going to a conference championship game from starting 0-7 last year to now just about a calendar year later having a chance to go to the conference championship game. That is tremendous. So we will take that. We will take that. So we still have some work to do. I think we should cut it off there. The episode's getting a little long. But I'm glad we're back on track. We're back on track. Go Cajuns, baby. We are on the road to glory. We're getting step by step, maybe just a little bit closer. So thanks, everyone, for tuning in once again. I hope you guys are getting the new year off to a great start. I'll see you next week for another video in this series. Also, got an SNCFL season recap video as our season is winding down there. Maybe we'll do a little bit on the playoffs there as well. Spoiler alert, we're not in the playoffs, so that's a bummer. We still had a pretty good year, but so I'll do an online video. We'll get that up this week, and we'll keep moving along here. So, as always, thanks guys so much for watching. If you haven't already subscribed, please do so. In any case, we're making progress, and I will happily see you back here next week in the next video.